Okay, buddy. Excuse me. I am still in chapter 18, page 163. So they just took the German prisoners and um, everybody was safe except for the one guy. The U-boats weren't finished with us yet. Excuse me. The rest of the wolf pack kept following us up the Florida coast. We'd see traces of them, a glimpse of a periscope, the wake of one that just dove under, some faint pings on the sonar. They bided their time when we pulled into Jacksonville to drop off our prisoners and the cargo ship survivors. They were still out there when we left Jacksonville to continue on up the coast back to New York. Now, as I've said, I never knew there were German ships on the coast of the U.S. We got to look this up. I had never heard that. This is totally something new to me, bud. Um, but I didn't know that there were German U-boats on the coast of Florida. That seems crazy to me, but I guess it's true. I did not know that. I'm learning something by reading this book with you. Another storm kept them away for a couple of days, but then it got calm again and clear with a full moon at night. 1 minute. And no clouds, which meant we had to be more vigilant than ever as the convoy crawled slowly north. We spotted one, gave chase, and lost it. One of the other PCs guarding the other side of the convoy chased U-boats twice, though they didn't get close enough to fire cannon or launch rocket bombs or depth charges. How can they stay out so long? I asked Chief Kerr. I mean, don't they have to refuel sometime? It was a night watch, and we were leaning on the rail below the bridge, feeling more than seeing, the ocean splitting in two as the bow sliced through the water and waves rushed under and around us. There was a soft rolling motion that, if I was in my bunk just then, would have put me right to sleep, no matter how bad it smelled down there. I guess they didn't teach you about the milch cows, he said. What's that? I asked. Special subs the German design that they send out to rendezvous points around the Atlantic. They meet up with the wolf packs to refuel and rearm them with more torpedoes so they don't have to go all the way back to their base in Europe, which can take weeks. So milch cows. Then he added, as if he didn't think I would figure it out on my own. Milch, it's milk. I said milk, but he means milk in German. So I think in German you'd say that milk, probably milk, not milch. So milch cows. We were running dark the way we always did at night, relying on visual contact to keep the ships from coming too close to one another, and hoping we were hidden well enough that the wolf pack wouldn't be able to see us to aim and fire their torpedoes. But there was nothing we could do about the full moon except keep to a zigzag course with the entire convoy. The problem with that was it slowed us down even more. It might even made us easier targets. But it was the ranking officer on one of the other PCs who's got to make the decision. So ranking order means that in the military there's different levels of seniority. Like there's different levels of command. So somebody on another ship was of higher ranking order. He got to make this decision and we followed it, though Chief Kerr kept spitting and cursing, not pleased with what we were doing. Full speed ahead is what I say, he fumed. Those cargo ships might not go fast, but they can sure go faster. Other than saying those things to me, though, I was pretty sure the chief kept his opinions to himself. Okay, we're going to move on to chapter 19, honey. On the second dog watch, I met up with Woody for dinner, which was canned meat and gravy over boiled potatoes and something green next to it that it might or might not have been a vegetable. We just called it evening slime. Woody smelled pretty rank as usual, and his clothes and face and hands were grease-stained. He didn't bother washing up, but just dove right into the food, which he obviously enjoyed a lot more than the rest of us. I picked at mine and mostly ate crackers and drank coffee, even though Mama wouldn't ever let me have it back home because she said it would stunt my growth. Nobody said that here, and I figured if there was one thing I did, that she wouldn't approve of, better drinking coffee than a lot of other stuff. Nice to get out of the engine room once in a while, Woody said between bites. You know how tight it is back there? And I'm not just talking about the engine room either. I'm talking about where we all bunk. It's a good thing everybody gets along. You sound like you actually like it, I said. Woody nodded. Yeah, I kind of do. I've been thinking that after the war, after we kicked Germany's butt and everything, I might even stay in the Navy. He held up a forkful of evening slime. They feed you, give you a place to sleep, teach you a job, and you get a paycheck once a month that you can spend however you want. Can't see what's not to like about it. You have to ask Grandpa Kiss Jack about he was on a submarine. He was in the Navy. You'll have to ask him about that. When I was a little girl, Grandma used to put us in the car and we used to go down to where the Navy boats would come in, the submarines would come in, and sometimes they would just say they were coming and they wouldn't tell us when, so we have to go down there. Sometimes we'd be there a really long time waiting for Grandpa to come. I remember that when I was a little girl. Anyways, back to our story. Another guy sitting with us in the mess scoffed. Scoffed. Do you know what that word means? I think it's like kind of, his name was Fulton. What about getting yourself killed by a torpedo? I can see a lot that's not to like about that. So scoff kind of means dismiss or sort of disagree maybe even. Hasn't happened so far, Woody said. Remember, I'm worried about Woody. I'm afraid something's going to happen to him. Reaching over to scrape my uneaten canned meat and slime onto his plate. Plus, where I'm from, you could get run over by a tractor, stomped on by a horse, all kinds of things. You could spend your whole life cropping tobacco on somebody else's tobacco farm and not have anything to show for it. I don't like taking my chances a little on a ship like this, running up and down the East Coast, getting to go to those bars down in Key West, and I bet they got some good ones in New York City too. I hope we get Liberty up there once we deliver this convoy back safe and sound. Here's hoping that happens, I said. We already lost one ship. Yeah, but we got one of theirs back, Woody said. Bet that's why they're staying away. Fulton scoffed again. There's that word, scoffed again. They ain't staying away, farm boy. They're just waiting for us to let our guard down. Woody shrugged and swallowed his last bite of my dinner. I still like it here, he said. So it sounds like he didn't have a very good life on his farm, and he does like sort of the thing of having meals and stuff. All right, good night, sweet boy, or I love you. I miss you. I love Chloe and Daddy and Duffy and Lola. I love you all, and I'm missing you. But I'm sure I'm having an adventure, and I hope we've talked, and I hope you know how much I love you. I love all of you, and I'll be home before you know it. I can't wait to get home, because I'll have had my adventure, but then I'll be back home for hugs and kisses and snuggles and lots more reading. I love you.